Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning, back on the topic of the MLB today. Huge news. Joe Musgrove of the San Diego Padres has just thrown their first no-hitter in franchise history. So today, another 2-Minute Warning reacts to this event. This is super, super big for San Diego. I'm by no means a Padres fan myself, but I'm super happy for this team, obviously, to bounce back with this after just earlier this week, you lose your franchise shortstop to a shoulder injury. So super happy for the Padres. So I'm going to be reacting to that video or to that event today. Of course, Joe Musgrove's no-hitter. But before we get into the video, question of the day, and that is really for you Padres fans. Who do you guys think is the Padres' #1 starter? You got Dinelson Lamet, you got Blake Snell, you got Yu Darvish, you got Joe Musgrove. Now, of course, he's got the most recent no-hitter, obviously, tonight he threw one. So all these great arms, great starting. You got Clevenger, you got Chris Paddock. The list goes on. Who do you guys think is the best starting pitcher on that team? And, of course, non-Padres fans, just feel free to comment below who you guys think is the #1 for this team. But getting right into the video, wow, it's my reaction. Unbelievable. I think this is, like I said, super happy for the Padres and Joe Musgrove. 3-0 win over the Rangers at Globe Life. No hitter from Joe Musgrove. 112 pitches, 77 of them were strikes. That's a great ratio right there. But there's so many crazy things about this no-hitter that just make it that much cooler. First of all, the first one in Padres history. Padres have been around for 53 years. First no-hitter in franchise history. They were the only team in the league without one until tonight. So another big accomplishment for Joe Musgrove. Not doing the math, I read this, but 8,206 games, 8,206 games straight they had without a no-hitter. I guess that's every game they've ever played in franchise history. That is the streak that they just broke of games without a no-hitter. Just all these facts, and to be honest, it hurts to say this, but he was one hit batter away from a perfect game. There was one base runner, I believe it was the 4th inning. He hit Joey Gallo. Gave him first base. The only base runner to see the field that game for the Rangers was Joey Gallo on a hit by pitch. So that's the part that hurts for Musgrove and for me, just as a fan, that he could have had a perfect game, which is no hitters here, that cool. Perfect game is above that. So that would have been awesome, but obviously woulda, coulda, shoulda. That didn't happen. Like I said, he had 112 pitches, 77 strikes, 10 strikeouts. Like I said, only base runner was a hit by pitch. First no-hitter of the season. Obviously, we're not very far into the year. Now, this right here, what I'm about to say is like the craziest thing about this, in my opinion. The catcher tonight was... Obviously, they made some changes around in the infield because of the loss of Tatis. So behind the plate tonight was Victor Caratini. That's not the cool part, or what is the cool part? But to explain it better, the last no-hitter in the MLB was 2020 Alec Mills of the Chicago Cubs, who was behind the plate. Victor Caratini. Now, fast forward to tonight with the Padres. Joe Musgrove throws a no-hitter. Who's behind the plate? Victor Caratini. I just think that's wild that the last 2 no-hitters, 2 different teams, 2 totally different franchises, the same catcher to be in the moment there, I think is awesome. So good for him. He must be a good luck charm. But the whole crazy, it's just I'm super happy for the Padres. They came from, like I said earlier this week, I was asking myself, are the Padres doomed? Because now you got Tatis out for an indefinite amount of time with his torn labrum. But now you got a situation where you throw a no-hitter. Ha-Seong Kim, who was playing shortstop for Tatis, made the last out. So it's almost like saying, Padres fans, it's going to be all right. It's going to be okay without Tatis until he's able to come back. So I think this is a sign from the baseball gods. This is the way I take it. The sign from the baseball gods. Padres fans, stay faithful, stay happy. I think Tatis will be back in no time. And either way, I think the Padres are going to be okay. That's what this tells me. But Joe Musgrove, obviously a guy that you got this offseason from Pittsburgh. I think he was like a 7-team trade, whatever the trade was. Bunch of guys involved. Joe Musgrove goes to the San Diego Padres. And now here he is throwing a no-hitter. He had never thrown a complete game in his entire career until tonight. That's 84 starts in his entire career. His first complete game happens to be a no-hitter. That's insane. You just can't say enough about how much this is. I mean, he's 28 years old. Like I said, he was on and off with the. He played for Houston. He played for Pittsburgh. He had never thrown a complete game before tonight. Goes out and does it this is big. And the Rangers team, you've got guys like Joey Gallo who can swing the bat really, really well. I think this is just impressive. He didn't do it against, I don't know, I was going to say he didn't do it against the Rockies as an example of a bad team. But the Rockies did come out and beat the Dodgers in the first series of the season. So maybe they're not too bad, but just insert worst team in the league. He didn't do it against a really bad team. The Rangers are not bad. So big accomplishment for Joe Musgrove, and I'm just super excited, even as a non-Padres fan. You Padres fans, this really should elate you. This should be awesome. And then this just really highlights how good the Padres pitching staff is. You go back to my question of the day, who do you guys think is the number one? My answer is not Joe Musgrove. So here you are having a guy that is not your number one, maybe not even your number two in your rotation, throwing a no-hitter. I like Blake Snell a lot. I guess Lamet's probably my number one for the Padres. He is probably the best pitcher, but then you can argue, I think Darvish or Snell takes the 2 spot. Maybe Musgrove. Musgrove might be the 3rd or 4th best starter on this team, and here he is throwing a no-hitter. Padres fans, you guys have the best pitching staff in baseball. I think that's what this solidifies. Now, we all know baseball is not a game of one-time things. This doesn't mean the Padres are going all the way. This doesn't mean that they're going to win 120 games. And it seems strange for me to take this one event and say, yeah, they got the best pitching staff in baseball. But I think that this no-hitter is enough to say that because, like I said, I think you can easily make an argument that Joe Musgrove is like the third starter on this team on the tier of the top 5 rotation. So that's saying a lot, getting a no-hitter out of this guy. But you put up 3 runs, and your pitcher lets one guy on base. That's how you win baseball games. That's how you win baseball games without Tatis. If you really got to do it one way, well, the best way to do that, in my opinion, is let one base runner on the entire game. Good for Joe Musgrove, but just all the firsts in this. First Padres no-hitter, first complete game for Musgrove, first no-hitter for Musgrove. Then you got Victor Caratini happening to catch this one and the last no-hitter in the league. A lot of crazy stuff going on, but all in all, if there's one takeaway from this, for me, Padres fans, you should be so happy. Like I said, take this as a sign from the baseball gods. You guys are going to be fine. The Padres are going to be okay. And again, I mentioned earlier that Ha-Seong Kim, who you guys got in the offseason, like I said, is a Korean player there. He played in Korea. He's really good, I think. To play second base, you got him. But now Tatis is hurt. You send him to shortstop. You're thinking, okay, what's he going to do? Is he going to be good enough to fill Tatis' shoes? Because those are some pretty big shoes to fill. Well, he makes the last out. I think that's another sign to just say everything's going to be okay. But again, I'm sitting here and I get an ESPN notification. Joe Musgrove, first no-hitter in Padres history. It's just simply awesome. I would have guessed probably 3 other guys on that Padres pitching staff were going to throw a no-hitter before he would have this year. And just the fact that you just acquired him this offseason is not a Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers, that he's been there for 12 years and you're like, oh, he's just holding this franchise together. No, he just got here and he's doing these great things for you guys. So again, my reaction to this no-hitter from Joe Musgrove, again, first in Padres history, is just, it's awesome stuff, and I'm really happy to see it for the Padres. I think that's a team that really needed something to save them because they were down from that Tatis injury. So I'm super happy to see that. That's all for my reaction. Comment below what you think about this no-hitter because I think it's huge. And as far as a question of the day, Dinelson Lamet is my top starter for the Padres, but you can make an argument for Snell, Darvish, or Musgrove. I think that really goes to show how good this Padres pitching staff is. Guys, thanks for watching. 2-minute warning.